It's about that time of day again, folks. Welcome back to Nightly Newsletter, boys and girls. Joseph James here. It's Tuesday evening, October 25th, 2016. Crude is bearish and trading down at a triple measured move after this afternoon's API report sent prices tumbling. Even the S&P is also bearish and trading at the measured move as well, but just inches away from yesterday's low. Gold is bullish and trading at a measured move itself as well after a big strong move higher today. And the euro is range bound and trading at the highs of the range with a picture perfect example of the 2-try rule, making those sellers excited about selling off the highs this evening. We got some big ranges today and some big news on the schedule for tomorrow. We're looking forward to another big day filled with trading opportunities. As always, I got another great newsletter in store for you guys tonight. Before we jump into those charts, though, and put the plan together, I want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is here on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry. There's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link. Come over here and join me on the blog and for the full-length version. While you're here watching the full-length version at Sideways Markets, please don't forget, make sure you join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when this nightly newsletter goes live. Download all the charts from tonight's video. Use that link right below the video tonight on the blog and have those charts ready on your computer for tomorrow. Grab your free pass in the upper right-hand corner if you're a new student here at School of Trade. If you're not a member, I've got a free pass for you guys. Come out and join me in the trade room this week. If you're brand new to SOT, don't forget we got a great frequently asked questions page on our blog. And you know I'm always hanging out here, standing by to answer all your questions. Hit me up on the live support button on the right-hand side of the website. Boy, it's been a great week here so far. Hope you guys are having fun out there every day with us. Another day of learning and earning opportunities here today in our trade room, and I'm excited to get back at it tomorrow with all of our students. Don't forget, we will be opening up our trade room tomorrow with all of our advanced members at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Come out and join me and do all this together with me real time tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's check the schedule for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, is Wednesday, October the 26th. We got some news coming out of from our good friends down under. Got the CPI coming out there at 8:30 p.m. tonight, right about when that first pitch is being thrown out with the old Cubbies-Indians World Series game. Isn't that going to be a great World Series? Boy, you know, I'm tempted to root for the underdog, which of course will be the Indians. They beat my Red Sox. But then, of course, you know, where I come from, you're supposed to root for the team that beats you. But of course, my Dodgers, I live in Los Angeles now, just got whooped by the old Cubbies. So it's tough to choose my team here. I think I'm leaning towards the Indians. I wouldn't mind seeing Cleveland win in both basketball and baseball. We'll talk more about the World Series, though, as we go. It's going to be a fantastic, fantastic week for the old fall classic, right? Who's your team? Give me a comment below. Send me an email. I'd love to root right along with you here this week. So we got some news tonight coming out of Australia, right? CPI at 8:30. And of course, don't forget, we then go into tomorrow. We got some big news coming out the rest of the week here. We got the international trading goods. We got new home sales. And of course, we got the old petroleum status report tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So news tonight at 8:30. Tomorrow morning at 8:30. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and of course tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. That's a lot of real big news tomorrow. We're looking good here for some good volatility. The one thing you do want to remember, though, is as you're looking at this is the petroleum status report. If you're a crude trader, don't forget, this is not your typical news report. I'm going to give it that buffer of 15 minutes before and at least 10 minutes after, a little bit more than my usual 5 minutes before and after, so be aware of that. We're going to be putting the plan together tomorrow for the inventory report in real time in our trade room. Come out and join us tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll put that plan together. We got some news targets waiting for us, and it's always a bit of a question mark when we go into the inventories. What I want you guys to remember for tomorrow, though, is that if you're trading crude, and you know the S&P tends to shadow crude too, so the S&P will probably piggyback on this move tomorrow. Expect a lot of volatility, a lot of violence coming into this market right as of 10:30 tomorrow. So make sure you're prepared for that, and do not try to wrestle with that volatility. Give it 10 minutes after the news comes out, let it calm down, and then get back at it. All right, get the plan for tomorrow. Let's grab some charts here and let's see what we're going to do tomorrow morning here. Crude, S&P, gold, and euro. Let's start out tonight with the old black gold. Crude oil, bearish and trading down at a triple measured move, at a triple down after this afternoon's API report, pushed prices below the range around $50 a barrel. We ended up going sideways around that 50. The sellers have control, but professionals won't want to sell this low, so we'll be looking for a correction back to resistance levels for the most reliable trading opportunities tomorrow. Now, aggressive sellers may choose to sell now and try to sit through the pullback with the goal of reaching the news target down at 48.64. But conservative traders will likely be waiting for a pullback to the channel high, the moving average, the range low, really any resistance level they can use to avoid selling low. Buyers, on the other hand, need to wait for this strong bear trend to turn bullish, which means they need to get back above the moving average and manage to hold a pullback, which, in case you can't tell, is going to be a little bit of a challenge right now. The moving average is all the way up at that measured move at 49.78. Couple things here tonight as we look at this market. This big spike down is caused by the API report every Tuesday afternoon, unless Monday's a holiday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. We hear from the American Petroleum Institute, which is usually the more accurate of the two inventory reports. Now, it happens at 4:30 when the market is closed, right? Well, at least the old pit session's closed. Most of us are not trading at that time, and so it does give you some pretty volatile action. Now, one thing we know about news, well, two things we know about news is, first of all, most news events create a spike. Those spikes oftentimes result in a spike in channel, in a spike in range, right? Or a spike in wedge. Either way, when we see a news event like this come out and we see a spike, that spike usually turns into spike in channel, spike in range, spike in wedge. Every once in a while, it turns into a flag. But the most important thing to remember about these is that give it some time, because soon you're going to start seeing which of these is most likely. If it's going to be a trading range, right? If we end up finding a trading range here, then my priority is to sell off the high. Now, again, that's going to take some patience. You're going to have to wait to see that move go up and then double bottom. That will create the range, and then you want to sell off that high. Now, what if price goes up? What if price goes up and then makes a new lower low? If it makes a new lower low, then that typically now becomes a spike in channel. If it becomes a spike in channel, my goal now is to sell the high of that channel and look for traps above prior swings on that channel. Now, of course, obviously, right, a new lower low also may end up being a wedge. If we get a spike in wedge, you guessed it, my goal is to sell the high of that wedge, sell above prior swings, whatever it takes to avoid selling low. Okay, makes sense? First things first, when we see news usually gives us a spike. Those spikes usually give us spike in channels, spike in ranges, spike in wedges. What's the common denominator here? Keep selling. Sell the high, and of course, stay patient, right? Because that sell, well, as the price rolls over, it will start to give you all that information. Now, second important piece about news. The news spike, right, this move down can be doubled down, right? Doubled down. The size of the spike can be doubled down, and that gives us the news target. If you watched the newsletter last week, you saw how accurate that was. It's always a bit of a variable because we have news tomorrow morning at 10:30. But if this thing decides it wants to keep running, you know where that 48.64 is. That will be the double down news target. A little bit ahead of that, that prior month high at 48.79. So that will be the more reliable short-term target. But if you have a couple more bullets left in the gun, you can definitely leave that runner on to that 48.64, right? That'll be that runner target for that news. Now you know what we're looking at when we come out for that news here. Now, again, like I said before, it's always a bit of a variable after we come out of that big news, right, at 4:30 p.m. And then, of course, we got news tomorrow, right, at 10:30 a.m. We talked about if it becomes a spike in range, if it becomes a spike in channel, right? So we talked about all of that. We may not see that, right? In all reality, this price may decide it wants to shoot right back up. And this is really where sellers will be looking if we don't get that spike in channel, spike in range, spike in wedge. You know, again, in the next few hours, you're going to have enough information to know whether or not it's going to come all the way back up, right? Try to run into some of this resistance, then come down, or if it's going to give us that spike in range, spike in channel, right, or spike and wedge. As of right now, for what we know right now, the sellers are looking at the top of the channel, the moving average, right, the range low at this 49.78, 49.79 area, right? So as this thing goes higher, buyer failure, back down, buyer failure, back down. Sellers are drooling over this place right here, right? Literally foaming at the mouth, trying to stay patient, trying to get in that sell back off the high. Now, again, there might be some aggressive sellers that just hit the sell button right now, and they're willing to wait through all of that and hope that doesn't pull back too far, right, before this thing collapses, right, collapses back down. Most patience here will be used up at the high of that channel, up at the measured move, right, which, of course, acting as resistance, and at the moving average overhead. The one thing, though, that you want to be careful about is if we end up back above the low of that range. So either sellers want to sell here or sell all the way up here, right? These are the two spots. Now, again, like I said before, if it just rolls right over here, right, and doesn't pull back that far, then you know what's up, right? Then you know it's a spike in channel or a spike in wedge, right? So keep an eye on that. But if it does come all the way back up, we're looking for selling opportunities up at resistance. Be careful trying to sell into the low of that range. It's probably going to snap higher at that point. And so, of course, up here, buyer failure and back down. Those are the two areas you really want to be looking for here right now if you're going to be a seller. Now, what if you want to be a buyer right now? The buyers do have, as bearish as this looks, if we kind of anticipate this now, sellers come in, right? They get above the moving average. They can't quite get it to work. Breakout, pullback. Buyers could definitely look if they can get the moving average. You know me, whenever I deal with support or resistance, breakouts, failures, I like to use the moving average as an easy way to clearly define, is it reliable or not, right? So as this market, again, assuming it goes higher here, if we make it back inside that range, the range lows at 79, the measured moves at 78. If we get back above that 79 area, that moving average comes over, right? That moving average comes over. Those buyers have a nice little window there to buy the low of that range. They're going to have to get a real strong move, pull back, hold that move, and that's where those bulls, right, can definitely look in for that buy. Now, from there, don't mess with the battle zone. Wait for it to get up, hold above that battle zone, and then that one is going to be the second opportunity here for the buyers will definitely be kind of dependent on time tomorrow. You know, if the way it looks right now, we could either be stuck, kind of pinned down to these lows, or we may find ourselves up around those highs at 10:15, 10:30 tomorrow, and it might just be setting up here for those sellers to smack this thing right back down when it comes to tomorrow's inventory report. So if we do make it all the way up above the battle zone, right, again, that's where buyers are looking. That's definitely where we can be looking for a full-blown reversal here, and of course their targets now will be going back up to retest that high. All right, guys, so sellers, wait patiently, see what we get. Are we going to get that spike and channel? If we do, you know where to look for those sells, right? Spike in channel, spike in range, spike in wedge. Or do we run up, right? Look for that sell back down. Or do we make it back above the range and give those buyers a chance here to be buying the low of that range? That's going to be a pretty interesting scenario here in the short term, so keep your eyes peeled. And again, right now, big, strong spike down. It definitely pays to be a little bit patient right now to see, are the sellers going to aggressively sell into this, or are they going to let this price come back up, right? Big drop, big pop, and then go right back where the move came from. We'll know more in just a few hours. Like I said, right about when they're throwing the first pitch out tonight at the World Series game, we'll probably know exactly what to be looking for tomorrow. How about some S&P? The E-mini is bearish and trading at the measured move, just inches away from yesterday's low. You can see now, of course, we've now punched through yesterday's low. This tells the sellers they need to beware selling low and focus on selling high for the most reliable trading opportunities tomorrow. The sellers clearly have control, but the low of that range, right, now we're at the low of this range right now. This is a real difficult place to sell, let alone when you have the measured move right there at 36, give and take, and you get that prior low of day sitting there at 34, right, 75. The only way sellers can sell lower is after a strong breakdown and then try to hold below this prior low of day. If not, they need to wait for price to move back up to the high of the range and then look for opportunities from there. Buyers, on the other hand, would love to see price